What's going on YouTube? Recently a viewer posted a question. Why would I not always want the same IP? Why would I want to virtualize something and then do not know how to access it? And I have to say that this is a pretty good question. From what I understand about LXD, it is just a low-level service that is utilized by container engines like Docker and LXD. So I would gear my response in relationship to Docker since I know that a lot more. Given the nature of what can be virtualized, I believe Docker wanted to deliver a simplified container so that it could be as flexible as possible. When you start to think about other services such as MySQL, Squid, and Apache, you normally would have to configure them to suit your need after you install those services. What makes Docker so powerful is that we are able to customize our environment to suit whatever we need. And on top of that, Docker supports many different types of network configuration depending on what we need. Do you want to have a multiple container communicate with each other? Then we can use a bridge network. Do you want to set up a Docker swarm? Then you can use an overlay network. Do you want something similar to like a VM setup? Then we can use a McLin. I think that's the way you pronounce it. So in general, when it comes to the network configuration, Docker has support for whatever kind of crazy ideas we have. When we are creating our own containers, we can specify what network and IP address to use. While the default Docker bridge network does not support static IP addresses, we can create our own bridge network that will allow us to assign static IP addresses to our container. Not only that, we can map selected host ports to our container, so when a network connection comes in on those ports, it will automatically go to the Docker container. So we can, do whatever crazy thing we would like to do because, the only limitation is our imagination. Outside of our networking solution, we have another option to connect to our Docker containers, and that's by using the command line interface. So we can connect to it by using the Docker execute or the Docker attach command, and that will allow us to use our terminals or console or command prompt to connect to our containers. An advantage of using the CLI is that we don't need to know the IP address of our containers, just the name of it, and this is something I use quite often. And last but certainly not least, when it comes to debugging or error logging, we can use the Docker logs command, and hopefully the information that we're looking for is present within the output of the logs. To recap, Docker does not assign static IP addresses because it expects us to set up the containers just the way we want it. To maintain its flexibility, it relies on us to do the legwork to configure the network just the way we need it. With that, I hope that explains why Docker does not automatically assign static IP. However, if there are any more questions, please ask them down below and I will do my best to answer them. Until then, I catch you guys later. Peace.